Hello, people. It's that time. It's that time again. Excuse me. Right, let's go. So, welcome everyone to my live stream. Welcome to the channel. My name's Danny C. Let's get down to business, shall we? So, this is it. This is the first round of the Gran Turismo World Series Manufacturers Cup Exhibition 3. So, let's get straight to it then. I hope everyone's doing good. This is the manufacturer I'm going to be racing for. That is McLaren in the 650S GT3 racing car. So I have no idea what to expect, but we'll see how that goes as we go along. So let's go into the Manufacturers Cup. So of what to expect. And before we get even further, Indian Stig, thank you very much for tuning in and hope you're well as well. He is live on YouTube for those who'd like to go check him out, as he does open lobbies, manufacturers, Nations Cup, league race adventures, daily races sometimes, and Indian Stig's your guide to go and check out for those who'd like to go and have a look at his content on YouTube. So this is what's going to be happening what's going to happen is that there's going to be 20 minutes of racing at Spa-Francorchamps for the first round. Qualifications set to 5 minutes, of course, so you do get the one-shot qualifying. Unless if you're quick enough to get out of the pits and then just do 2 flying laps, then by any means. So the fuel consumption set to ×2 with the tyre wear set to ×3. It could rain in the middle of the race, and you do need to pit at least once. So you just got to be prepared for anything. Do you know what I mean? So obviously that it's one of them tracks that I like, and so we'll just hopefully we get a result. So I've no idea what to expect, like I said. So rolling start, 3 litres per second, and you do need racing medium tyres. Fortunately, I don't need to use the hard or the racing softs because, well, it could be a different race car for sure, but we will see. The objective is for myself is just to hopefully get a result, depending who I'm up against. So the 5 o'clock slot is open, so get on that before I forget. So we'll get into the practice section. So who knows? It could rain at the start. It could rain at the end. It could rain in the middle, or it might not even rain at all. So just looking on the weather radar, of course. So this is like 60 hours away, and as you can see, there's not really much rain when you look at the colour of the patch. So as of the current time right now, it's not hitting the track. So we've only just missed it. So, but it could change the next lobby for when you're about to go out to the track. So you just got to be prepared for anything, in that sense. So who we got? We've got myself in 7th in the friends list, of course. 312. So that puts me out of the top 300 in that occasion. So I've just gone on to do a bit of practice before I go live in somebody's lobby. So Stig, if you're about, then I do appreciate you running the lobby for a little bit. And so I've only had a chance to do 10 laps or something. So I've got the valuable information in terms of how long the tyres will last. I don't think fuel should be an issue now. So, and as for this car itself, It's not too bad, apparently. I could be wrong, but because we haven't had an update since September, something like that. Obviously, you've got the spec-free update that's arriving next month, whenever the specific date it is, probably as early as 4th of December, and that'll be a few days before we get into the last round of the Formula 1 World Championship. Not really my absolute best laps, but just to get the feel of the track as well. Last minute preparations before we get the race underway. Even at lower speeds, but when you have it on first gear, it does like to snap a bit of it, even if you want to get it to turn in a bit more. So the wind's currently 2.7 mile an hour. Bit wide on the apex, but at least I can see where I can make up some time, having slightly adjusted my lines in certain parts of the track. Obviously the wind could make a pretty big difference. When I was in a practice lobby, I was experiencing nearly 10 mile an hour wind speeds, which is crazy. Just gonna park it up for a bit. Don't want to burn myself out too much before the qualifying of the race, which does give me a chance to go for a quick toilet break. And I'll be back in a bit. 2 secs. And I'm back. Let's do some donuts whilst we were waiting to get put into a lobby. Causing havoc to the neighbours. So I've got just over a minute left and should be getting it going for the qualifying. So this is it. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Good afternoon, good evening, Alex. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome along. Hope you're well, my brother. So this is it. Very balanced fight to the rear. And no matter what happens, you want to enjoy it for as much as you can before the Spec 3 update of GT7. So this is like the last manufacturers, nations, whatever you call it, before we get into the Spec 3 era, having been in Spec 2 for a couple of years, 2 years should I say. So best of luck to those who are taking part on this round. Best of luck to those who are taking part in this upcoming race. Without further ado, let's do this. Good evening, Alex. Welcome along. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the good luck message. Hope you're well, my brother. So, we've got Lion. We've got Yamaha. We've got Andy. Weather's looking nice. Yeah, I've turned it off. Because I just like I just like to get a bit more response. I mean, it's anybody's preference really. So anywhere the top 8 is good results, which will increase the DDR as long as you have a good one, or anywhere wherever I qualify, I start from where I started. Then therefore that I've gained some progress. So there's 296 points for the win, 271 for third, 210 for 8th. So 5 minutes qualification, and there's going to be a load of people fighting for position. So maybe, if needs be, I'm going to jump into the back and only get that one shot qualified. So there's 2 ways to get on with this. One is either get into a justly position with some people and try to get the second fly lap in if I get time. And other than that, we should be able to get a qualifying result, but see what happens. I set the force feedback to 3 and sensitivity to 9 on my wheel, for those who are wondering. So feel free to use these settings if you wish. So good luck, everyone. So I've got a couple of people ahead. So the wind is pushing towards the north at 3 miles an hour, so that's one of the key things to know. Somebody have this spinner already. So we have got somebody, or 2 people, looking like they're going to have to back off, which they are doing. So we should be able to get 2 flying laps in, having got through the out lap, warm-up lap properly. Let's go. Ooh. Bit wide on that corner. Should be able to tidy that one next time round. Thought I was going to go onto the AstroTurf, but kept it on the track. So we're just about to get another flying lap in. Okay, still some room for improvement. Much tidier this time. Looking good. Just need to put it together on the last hurdle. Let's go. I'll take that. Just considering that it is a pretty tough lobby. Like 3/10 off pole, so we've got the French driver in the French car, in the Citroen, and the German driver in the German car. And we've got a British driver in the British car. So let's have a look at what the weather's doing. So no rain by the looks of things, so it's a dry race then. A dry race indeed. Make sure I'm on the right tyres, which I am. This is way too early. I just came home, says Yamaha. So in the meantime, have a good race. Good luck. And we're just about to begin the first round of the GT World Series Manufacturers Cup Exhibition 3. Let's play the music. Let's get down to business and do the talking on the track. Good luck and have fun. Good evening, Skins. Welcome along. Thank you for the good luck message. I hope you're well, my friend. Yeah, it's a dry race, so basically you just got to pit at least once, and that's all you got to do. Failing to comply with that then will result in a penalty. Let's go. Number 13. Unlucky for some. Here we go. Let's go. Wind's pointing towards the south, bear that in mind. I don't know why I keep looking, but it looks like that bit of rain, yeah, it's heading towards the track, isn't it? Oops. You wanna go? Go, go, go. Felt like there was contact there, so I just had to do the right thing. No problem. But there's still a long way to go. So we're gonna get the knife place for the moment, as the Nissan driver is about to serve the half-second penalty. So we're making our way back up, but there's still a long way to go. Bit of fighting going off there. Ooh, saw that one coming. So we're in the top 8. So I can see P5 on my striking distance range kind of thing. Yep, I'm still there. Tuck back in. Cool as you like. One hand on the steering wheel with a drinks bottle. Some fighting going off there. Just got to be mindful of the little lag. Oh. Don't want to go too ambitious on that one. That BMW driver is going for it. Here we go. 3 up rest. What's going to be last of the brakes? You sure? Are you sure? Almost. And someone's driven me around the outside. We've got a pile of cars fighting for a certain position. The rain is hitting the track, but not hard though. I'll take some positions, thank you. It's only going to be on for a short space of time, that rain. I'm sure that. Ooh, bit of pushing and shoving going off there. What the? I don't know, what was that? Whether it's just a constant lag or the... am I timing out? Got back up to normal speeds, no problem. Normal speed internet so far. But that was just a bit odd. Last thing you need when you're in a serious race. So the rain is slowly hitting the track a bit hard. Just got to be mindful of the approach, tipped all the way through. Whoa! Might be worth coming in for a set of intermediates, because I'm starting to feel a bit more grease with the track. And this rain is going to last another 5-10 minutes or something. I don't want to pit well faster than those who are in front, in case. Might as well. What have we got to lose? Intermediates, I go. And I'll be able to feel the confidence with the intermediates I've got on. Alessandro's going to have to take a penalty for cutting the corner. Yellow flags. Somebody's trying to go a little bit longer or something. This is working out to a treat, this. Come on, Mopa. Papaya rules. Opa's in the McLaren. Thank you. Done the undercutting some drivers. It's working out to a treat. 3.1 between myself and the car at front. We've got Kaz in the inside. Let's see what we can do from there. He's gone wide. Probably a penalty will come his way. Yep. Told you. Told you I'd get a penalty for exceeding track limits. They just used the AstroTurf to try and minimize the damage. Cheeky. That's all I could say. Whoa. Bit of a jump scare, that one. He's got another half-second penalty. Well, probably first mistake I've done in terms of abusing the track limits all race long. Yeah, I was doing so well until that point, but it's not over yet. So it looks like the rain has stopped. Whoa. So I've got some work to do if I were to catch up to Kaz. Unless something happens further up front. Kaz has a half-second penalty, so I just need to get close to him to the best I can. It's gone wide. Surely that's another half-second penalty. Ooh. That was a move and a half. Although I was moving a while under braking, so I just had to give way. There's a dry line there, a proper dry line. Whoa. Not by long now. Just need to keep it on the track for as much as I can and get the job done. I sense the car up front might have a half-second penalty coming their way, which they have. Whoa. Got a bit deep there. Another half-second penalty dished out to Kaz. Just got to be mindful on the approach. Almost. Had to lift off so I get within track limits. Might have given him a little nudge to keep going, but I'm going for the overtake. This is just cannot do much about that. You gotta have 1 second penalty, yeah? And then it just doesn't want me to progress even further. What's he racing for? Is he racing for himself or what? Anyhow, if I could get through in one piece, then job's a good one. There we go. That's more like it. Struggle. Force him into a mistake. 1.5 seconds. That's just beyond the track limits. Perhaps Kaz has not looked after his tyres properly. That'll be why. But we'll find out in the replay. Cars up ahead. Just need to keep the tyres alive for the last lap. For what I've been doing and keeping the tyres cool for as long as possible, it's certainly doing the trick also. Fuel's not an issue. Three cars up ahead. Maybe a chance of P5. Just need to bring it home now. The Mercedes is struggling, isn't it? We've got a chance of P7 to finish from where I started, and it's all going to go down to this last lap. Just need to keep it together, unless something happens further up front. Sorry that I've been quiet a bit. I've just literally been doing the talking on the track the best I can, and I appreciate your understanding. It's going to be close, I can tell you. Danny's gonna get you, Danny's gonna get you. Somebody's gone wide. Yamaha's gone wide. We're through. You can have this spot if you want, I'm not fussed. I'll give you a little nudge just to help you out a touch, and then you seem to have fluffed the lines. We'll got there. We'll got there. Well done, everyone. Started 7th, finished 6th. Not bad, eh? Not bad for my first race at McLaren, considering from where I started. Thank you very much to those of you who have been lurking at the background for watching the show. Hope you enjoyed it, as well as I have, regardless on the outcome. Ooh. So the French drivers won it in a French car, having started on pole. So I've raised one position. Thank you, dropping the hammer. Appreciate it. A bit of racecraft. That's what it is. A bit of racecraft. He had no tyre, no fuel. Ah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. I was giving the Yamaha guy a bit of a nudge, and I wasn't really sure when to pit. I wasn't really sure about how good the tyres were, but I was kind to give him a bit of a nudge, you know, just to keep him further up front. So then, of course, I'll think about the move on the bus stop chicane, So, but regardless, started seventh and then finished sixth. So can't complain. Can't complain. So that gets me 234 points. So considering that this is the first slot, obviously, as for some, then obviously, well, the fuel wasn't an issue from my side, as I just had to use my initiative, just to short shift and then lift and cross a little bit, and obviously just to keep it on the track to the rest I can. Apart from that, well, the half-second penalty I got, and then still managed to get a result, depending who I were racing with. So, but yeah, so it was looking like a pretty sticky race, but we'll take home sixth place. Don't want to be going again, because otherwise you literally will just place in all your chips, and then you could either win it or even lose it all. So let's have a look at the replay, shall we? So, let's have a look, shall we? So, started off with obviously 7th place with the number 13 on my car. It was looking like it was going to be a dry race, but you never know what the lobby might throw at you. So you have to be prepared for the unexpected. So there was a bit of close racing combat between 3rd and 6th, and then 7th, 8th. So on the run up to the bus stop chicane, after going flat out through this left-hander, someone said to you on the inside, as you do. It was a bit of a nudge, and I have to give way. I'd rather be a good sport than be selfish to make up some more places after a clash. So, my apologies for that. And the drivers used the hazard lights to say thank you. Apologies accepted. So that's that issue out of the way. We keep going. So what should we do? So this is like where he obviously got a half-second time penalty served, and that, of course, we made up some places. So there was a bit of catch-up to do, having gave way to the person that made contact with in the first lap at the bus stop. Excuse me. So this is where Lion just gets all out of shape. So Lion was obviously getting harassed by the Italian in the Mercedes. So it was a bit of a pushing and shoving there. Well, and the Italian thought that they had the right to make the corner, but then if you look at the axle there, the front axle was just a bit far off the rear axle. And then, obviously, if you look at the brakes, we'll get to there. So, look at the brakes. Braked just a little later than after the 100 meter board. And then you also have Lion in the BMW. He also braked too, and then obviously the Italian thought, I'll just let go of the brakes a little bit, park it in front of that car, and therefore that sent the Lion into a spin on the AstroTurf. So that's a no-no in my box. Obviously, it's one of them things that you just got to bear in mind about with the braking, and considering that the wind was pointing down the south, so that was one thing you had to bear in mind. And then they didn't even think twice in that sense. So what could I see from my perspective? So there was a bit of wheel-to-wheel action into the bus stop. I almost lost the car, and then obviously the Nissan driver just saw a gap, and then I had to try and stay around the outside, and therefore keep the momentum going. I wasn't really sure about braking, so how he got the move done was just on the brakes at first corner. I braked very much just at the 100 meter board, and then the Bulgarian driver obviously braked just a little later, kept it around the outside, and for good measure what I had to do was tuck in to get a good slipstream, and therefore I had to be sure that I stayed within the slipstream flat out and get the lines together, because if you get the lines wrong and end up exceeding the track limits, you'll end up with a penalty. As simple as that. And I had to shift up to 6, because that's, of course, you want to be sure that you keep the momentum going whilst in the slip, and considering the wind was still pointing towards the south. So I thought about a move, and I'm like, nope. Yeah, I was too nice, and that was just after he went battling with Getz. Bojanov was battling with Getz for a moment, and then got onto the AstroTurf. I saw the gap, and then I was like, shall I? Don't want to put him off the race, put him off the track, and end up into a consequence. So we've got the BMW driver who also saw the opportunity, who made their way past into the before heading to the left-hander on the run up to the chicane. So a little nudge from the German in the BMW, which compromised Bochum. Then I saw the opportunity to try and go for 2 for the price of 1. And you know how I did it? What I had to do, having learned from the previous lap, was to be late on the brakes, and therefore get the move very much done. But there was side by side between myself and the Nissan driver, and what I had to do is double shifter just to try and tuck back in, and save the opportunity for later on while heading down to the Kemmel Straight. So did that trick work? I thought for a moment that he was indicating left, and then they went thanks, but obviously he lifted just a little touch and then braked a little later, which I had to leave some racing room, and then the BMW driver saw the opportunity to send it around side, get the place back. So I did feel a little nudge from the Yamaha dude in the Jaguar, but there was just a bit of a lag, which I didn't want to get too near, because sometimes it's in certain lobbies that you never know that if there's going to be like a little lag glitch where by a split second then you'll have no time to react on avoiding hitting the car in front. So where are we heading off to? So this is where things get a bit spicy. So the Nissan driver thought of a move, and then as you can see on the wetometer, so maybe the Italian was being a bit too fair for once, or the Nissan driver were a bit too aggressive, and you can see the wiper blades, and that's where, not this time, the next time you'll start to see a bit more rain hitting the track. So you will see what will happen on that occasion, and I just stay out of it and try and make it hardest to keep it on the track. So what was the Yamaha doing? So saw the opportunity to send it on the inside. Just a little tap of it in desperation, which obviously should have just like lifted off a little touch and give way. So the rain light is on, and there's a bit more rain heading into this section of the track. I just had to lift off and then make the other driver think I was going to go for the dive down the inside, but nope. Compromised himself after scrapping with the Italian. So yeah, and then comes through Alessandro in the Toyota. So you look at the Toyota driver, who saw not 2 but 3 people in within a fight for a position. Maybe he should have just like let go of it. Well, just use the brakes a little bit and then just get the car turned in there properly instead of just extending itself. But it's depends on how you see it, innit? Depends how you see it. And that was wise to well, just to try and not get knocked off or so if all happens to the other car. So around lap 8 is, to me, is the crucial moment where I'll get a proper idea of how bad the rain is on this side of the track. So it's just gone over the third of the wetometer, with the amount of water that's standing on the track, and I'm just doing for my dear life the best I can to try and stay on them. Yeah, that was just a bit desperate. Well, having noticed that well, the Nissan driver just give me a nudge, and then obviously no harm done, and then I had to be sure to just keep it on the track. But that was just very ambitious from that one, having been kind to give the place back. So after the first lap clash. So let's see how many people pit. So you got the top 3. You got the Citroen driver being one of the first to pit in, which is a brave move, I'll have to admit. Ewan's pitted in, so you got Getz, who is coming in as well. He's one of the first to pit. Another person pitting, then there's myself, Alessandro. So you had a few people pitted in for wet weather tyres. So there's 5 of us, of course. Alessandro eventually made it to the pits. And the Italian car just carry on. Ghostly, the British driver obviously carried on. Got a half-second penalty in the process. So you see Alessandro struggling to get the lines together, which resulted in a half-second penalty for abusing the track limits. So went a bit wide, couldn't quite find the grip on the braking, but then I had to be patient on that sense, and then build my confidence. And then Yamaha obviously pitted for Inters, gets pitted for Inters, and there's the Finnish driver, Opa, struggling to keep it on the track. And Minzero is going to be laughing his head off as he sees Andy in the Porsche. And then eventually, everybody else out front, the top 6 actually, the top 7 I should say, top 8, obviously pitted in for wet weather tyres. Excuse me. So it wasn't too bad from my side to do the undercut, being one of the first to pit for the wet weather tyres. But then it's just a case of well, building the consistency and then having that finish driver all over my backside. So I'm like, if you got the pacer, then you might as well have a go if you wish. So the finish driver saw the opportunity, and they had to give way because managed to get it through that apex in one piece. Saw the opportunity and took it. So then, of course, he got a half-second penalty for abusing the track limits, and this is pretty cheeky of the finish driver to use a bit of AstroTurf to try and minimise the damage that's been done, which is what most people have been doing since whoever's idea was that to go onto the AstroTurf or the grass or whatever you call it, to try and minimise the damage that's been done on the track limit side. And that bit of lag, I had to take avoiding action. So you see what I mean? That there, I had no chance to literally just was very lucky from my side, you know, just to react by a split second to just to get to just to avoid hitting the car up front, because that would have been some damage there, I'm sure of that. So, but what very much will put me on the back foot to touch is well, with the fact that I just had to kick that I was up behind the whole time of the finish driver. Where you look at where the Citroen driver is, and you that part of the track where I am, like a 10-second, 12-second gap or something like that, or 13 seconds, something like that. So it's just one of those possibilities of it shoulda, woulda, coulda. If those things would have happened like that. But so my intermediates was obviously one lap older than the finished drivers up front. So even the German driver gets, and this French driver, that Citroen driver's got a bit more good condition. Tyres are in more good condition than anybody in those who were one of the first to pit for intermediates. Excuse me. Right, so let me see, what was I doing? So surely the finish driver got a time penalty, then I moved just a little bit there, and that of course no hesitation from the Nissan driver to send it, having braked a little bit later by the looks of things, which he has done. So fortunately no crashes on that one, because I did feel from my perspective that I've moved a little bit towards I will get myself ready, as you would, therefore that managed to escape from what could have been a disaster in that sense. So the Nissan driver got the move done and is off into the distance. So what's going to happen too is that the the Nismo driver is going to disappear off to the distance, and then getting around to after lap 15 where you start to see the dry line forming up nicely. Look at the tyres, the Lambo's tyres. That driver looked after the tyres pretty well. And the Mercedes, obviously no issues with the Citroen out in front, as the Citroen drivers got a bit of a lead. So what was that? So the Nissan driver saw the move, wants to get it done. Kept it on the track, so it was a bit ambitious. So that led to the Mercedes driver to get a half-second penalty, which it was pretty desperate in that one, because it's not fair on the Mercedes driver, who also had to go over the white line, and that resulted in a half-second penalty for track limits. So we're going into the last couple of laps. You can see the Finnish driver literally just having got a half-second penalty. Oh, look at him, look at him. And there you have another half-second penalty dished out because he went too wide there. So I gave him just a little nudge, and obviously misjudged the timing on. So I lifted off just a little touch. Then the guy up front, having gone through the Eau Rouge, then Top of Radion in one piece. Didn't lift off as much, and then the placement to just so you see looked like a bit of a nudge to keep him going, but then they were just not meant to be. So I braked to I was braking a little later, and I'm like, nope. So where was the Finnish driver braking? Just a little bit, but then obviously just left me no chance to keep going forward, and so I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Anyhow, good job I kept my composure together throughout. So you see how bad the tyres are on the front left? Pretty, compared to my front left. So my rears were just going a bit, and the Lexus isn't too bad. And it's starting to struggle now. Struggle even more. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, pal. So it came down to the last 2 laps of the motor race. So you had Ewan, looked like 4th place was his. So the Nismo driver must be pretty low on fuel. Same with the Mercedes. Mercedes looks pretty low on fuel. I had no issues with my fuel, as so came into the last lap. I had enough tyre, and that guy's got less fuel on board. Same with the Nismo driver. Same with the Yamaha dude. So you have the Polish driver about to get overtaken by the Austrian driver Leo with proper worn intermediates. So the intermediates on the front of the German car literally worn to pieces. And you know what it is? It's simply because they haven't been using as much water as I have been doing to the best I can. I mean, every car is different, and depending what brake balance you use, obviously I've been running 5 to the rear, which obviously can wear out the tyres a bit more, even if you're doing a bit of trail braking also. So I saw the opportunity to make up a couple of places, and then you see 5th place was up on the road, and look how shattered the tyres were on the front. And that was the one bit I wasn't even aware of, which can't be helped, as you never know what the condition of the tyres were on other people's cars, unless somebody tells you, and if they do a live stream or something, then they can pass you the info, just like a race engineer. And I was literally harassing the lot. Obviously I gave him a nudge, as you do, like a good sport. But then of course, all of a sudden, that German had no tyre. So if you see, this is what the front left looks like, prop completely gone. Literally no chance. So I mean, this is one of them that it got lucky to not get a half-second penalty, to tell you the truth. So it was just one of those things that where there was no opportunity for the German to keep it on the road with a proper worn front left tyre, and I had enough tyre and obviously literally no fuel at the end. So that was pretty close. Brought it down to the wire. So there you have it. And that was the first round of the GT World Series done. So go into the daily tickets and see what I win. An invitation from Ferrari. Nice. To buy one of the exclusive cars also. So, I'm going to go into the escapes movies to draw close to the stream. So, I'd just like to spare a moment to say thank you very much to those of you who are tuned in to say hello while we're on the go. Thank you very much to those of you who have been watching at the background for watching my race. I appreciate it. And started 7th, finished 6th. Maybe a little more places if you haven't been for this and that, but you know, we've kept everything under control to the best we possibly can. Being one of the first of the 5, 6 to pit, whilst we was detecting some more rain coming on that particular section of the track, which gave me the opportunity to progress even further and to continually keep using the wet patches, you know, to keep the grip for the long run and enough fuel to the end. So can't complain. So next time I'll be live is on not Friday, because what am I doing on Friday? Well, just usual things. So obviously I've got Saturday as when I'm next live, as we're going to be doing round 2 of the GT World Series Manufacturers Cup. So not sure what to expect on that one too, but the start of the campaign is looking promising, considering the choice of car and of course the tracks, etc. So we will see, and we'll just work with what we got also. So yeah. So if anybody liking the content of what I'm doing, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Appreciate your support. And so where we at? So we've been at it for nearly 2 hours. So welcome to the new subscribers, to my channel. For those who don't know, get to know. I do open lobbies normally on Tuesday evenings in any car category. Sometimes other parts of the weekends, depending what I got to my schedules, and some league race adventures, anything that's Gran Turismo World Series related. Sometimes daily races, depending what PD throw at us also. But yeah. So anyhow, I'm going to crack on with whatever I need to do. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great evening, great afternoon, great morning, wherever you are. And from myself, Danny C, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, all, and bye-bye.